Can you take me back to the moment when you sort of realised that this breakup was shattering you?
I realized that it was shattering me the whole time through it, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just like one of those breakups where I think I was genuinely convinced we were going to get back together. And I know everyone's been in a situation like that where they're sort of like, well, maybe not everyone, but they're like, oh, it'll be fine. Like, we'll get back together. And we had one of those like tumultuous
Yes.
relationships where it was very on again, off again, on again, off again. And then this was one of the times where I was like, oh, it'll be fine. And then it wasn't fine. And then I sort of had to like come to the realization that I was going to have to learn how to be by myself.
Was there a moment when you realised that this relationship or person wasn't good for you?
I think I knew it the whole time, but I didn't let myself admit it. The actual moment that I knew I had to stop was my sister, actually, who is my best friend. She said, Jacquie, I genuinely, I can't be there for you if you're going to get back with him one more time, because it was really bad. And everyone knew it was really bad. It got to the point I stopped telling my friends about it, stopped telling my family about it, stopped telling my sister about it, because they'd just be like, you've got to just cut this off.
Yeah.
And, you know, like when you're in a position like that, your brain is like, okay, just stop telling these people, because they're going to tell you what you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
They're no longer going to just sugarcoat it and say, oh, it'll be so fine. And you're like, they're going to tell me to end it, so I'm just going to keep it all in, and then it sort of all explodes out. And yeah, she was super honest with me, and I'm so grateful that she was, because if she hadn't have done that, the cycle would have just kept going and going and going. So yeah.
Well, you told our producers that leaving a toxic relationship was really hard, and like I completely relate. I've been in the same position where you do just keep going back, but you know this person isn't good for you.
Yeah.
But there's like a magnetic pull that's pulling you back together.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, you know that it's
the
bad.
weirdest thing, isn't it? Because I feel like unless you've gone through it, you don't understand. And yes, it's easy for your friends to just be like, just leave him, or, you know, you can do so much better. But they don't realize how in your mental space, what you're thinking and how you genuinely think you can't. Like, I can't, and there won't be anyone else. And like all the things they've fed you over the years being like, you can't do better. I am the best. Without me, you're nothing. And you're like, oh, maybe they're right. And then you literally start to believe it. So it is really, really hard to leave. So I totally sympathize with anyone that's ever been through anything like that, because it is so fucking hard. Like the strongest of people can go through that as well. It's not just like, you know, it doesn't just happen to people that are necessarily weak-minded or anything like that. It happens to so many people.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you love someone. Like, did you love that person?
Yeah. Well, I thought I did. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. And you thought that you'd be with them for a really long time. So it was that realization of, hang on, this person actually isn't good for me at all.
Yeah, it's so hard to go through. It's such a weird experience, because you know it yourself, which is the weirdest thing. Like, I used to watch TED Talks on like toxic relationships and like Google everything about it, because I knew I was in one. I just didn't know how to get out of it. And that was the weirdest thing for me, I guess, because I'm such a Googler. I'm such a like self-diagnoser, and I love to learn about everything, especially like psychology. I find it so interesting. And I guess I found it super interesting how a toxic relationship can be compared to someone that's a drug addict. Like, you become addicted to like the oxytocin that your brain feeds you when you're with this person, and then when they pull it away and you don't have it, and then you want it again, and then it's just I read and watched so much content about toxic relationships, I guess, to the point where I was an expert on it, but I still couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, you know what's happening sort of before your eyes, but you're just stuck. What would you say, like, this other person you were with, like, what were they doing that sort of like was toxic that kept you going back? Like, would they cut you off at times and then be there again and kind of control the relationship, I suppose? Yeah,
it was very controlling. It sort of was one of those relationships that started when all the things he loved about me became all the things he absolutely hated about me, like, as the relationship went on. Like, from the start, it was like, I love that you have so many friends, and I love that you love to go out and like hang out with your friends. And then it was like, why are you hanging out with these people? They don't care about you. Why do you like, and then it was like, oh, I love like how you dress. And then it's like, you can't wear that. Why are you wearing that? You know? And then it flips, and you're like, wait, whoa, when did this happen? And it happens, I guess, gradually, but then you're in so deep that you're like, but I love this person, and I love who they were, and I guess I love who we were at the start, and you're always sort of feeding yourself that. You're like, no, but when it's good, it's good. And when he's nice to me, it's really good. But when it's bad, it's really fucking bad. And I'm not saying, sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm not saying I was an angel. Like, I was I'm not an angel. I probably wasn't the best in this relationship either. But yeah, I guess it was just, one of those things that it was good until it wasn't. And then it was not good.
How did it end, the relationship in the end, like when it fully came to an end?
He dumped me and it was when my sister Evie said to me, if you get back with him, like I'm done. Like I can't be here for you. It took everything in me to not message him. I watched so many YouTube videos on no contact and I was like, the weirdest thing is I was reading about no contact and I was like, you know how I don't know if you know about like the no contact rule, like how they say, you know, it's like the 30 days and then after the 30 days, it'll be easier from there. But also after the 30 days, they're going to want to speak to you after the 30 days. So I kept that in my head. I was like, I'm doing this because after 30 days, he's going to miss me.
Yeah.
But then I got to the 30 days and I was like, wait, I don't miss him. Like I'm so much better off. And then because I had him blocked on everything as well, like it made it, the no contact, like you got to literally out of sight, out of mind type of situation. And I sort of like found a love for my friends again. I made new connections. I had time to do stuff other than just like wait for a text message or wait for him to take me back. Like honestly, it was pretty pathetic. But yeah, it was an experience and it's made me who I am today. And I don't, would I go back and change it? I don't know. I actually don't know because I think it's made me who I am today and it's allowed me to see, different sides of me.
Yeah, I think that we end up in relationships or any experience we have in life, like it teaches us something, even if it's uncomfortable and like not healthy for us. With your friends at the time, did you like lose those friendships because of like his behavior, like the person you were with?
Yeah, definitely because of that. Also, they just hated being around him. He was just negative and a bad person to be around. And I guess they just got sick of the constant fighting. If we were out in a group situation, like we'd be fighting. It got exhausting for sure.
Yeah. So this period of your life, what did it teach you about friendship?
It taught me that, honestly, I think I was really selfish in this time. Like I depended a lot on my friends for me, but I don't think I ever asked them how they were going. And I think, I have still friends from this time and they're some of my best friends still today. One of my best friends, Fee, she stuck through me the whole thing and she was always there to listen to me and everything. But I don't think I ever asked her how she was going. And that is so horrible. I'm just thinking about it now, to be honest. But yeah, I guess it just taught me that, if someone loves you, they're going to be there for you. And also even if they do love you and they're not there for you, sometimes they've got to protect their own peace and you can't really take it out on them either.
Yeah, it's like you were saying before. I think people need to sometimes learn these things on their own. I mean, I think if your friend is in like a really toxic, dangerous situation, like you need to step in and say something, you know, like for their safety. All we can do is really try, but sometimes it does take that person to, I mean, I know on my own experience when I've been in these situations, I haven't listened to anyone.
And it's hard too because I think a lot of your friends, they see you when you're the best with them as well. Like they see you having fun together when you're out and then they don't see when you get home and the fight breaks out. They might not see that. So then there was a couple of times where I'd be like, oh, this happened. And they'd be like, no way. Like you guys were so happy that night. And I'm like, yeah, but then we got home and this fight broke out. So it's really, sometimes it's hard to be like, yeah, you see us good and then we're bad. Or like when it's good, it's really good and then it's bad, it's really bad. So I don't think everyone sees the full picture and that's really hard too. So I think, if you do have friends that reach out to you and say, I think something really toxic's happening, I think it's really negative and it's downward spiraling, like you have to listen to them because you can't just be like, you guys are like one of the happiest couples I've ever seen because that's half of it. Like you're putting on an act half the time. Like you're trying to prove to your friends as well, no, look, we're really, really happy. Like, I swear we're really happy. Like, it's all good. Don't ask us about anything. Like, I used to be like, don't ask when he's around because like it'll mean like there's going to be a fight later.
Yeah.
And you just learn all these little like tips, like these tricks along the way, which I mean, it's a defense mechanism, isn't it?
Absolutely. So you said it sort of ended and you were in your mid-20s at the time too. Mm-hmm. You went no contact for 30 days. How did you heal from the heartbreak? Because I know sometimes leaving a relationship that's not healthy for us, and especially when it's not our decision, it can be like gut-wrenching to try and like forget about that person.
Yeah, it was gut-wrenching. I remember like many sleepless nights and checking my phone every 2 seconds in the hope that there was a message. But the way I healed was basically reconnecting with old friends. I started doing things I used to love doing. Like I started exercising more, going for walks. I started listening to podcasts. It was actually at the time where Call Her Daddy had sort of just began, like when it was Sophia and Alex. And I fell in love with their podcast. I loved it so much. And I guess like I grew a lot through that podcast. Obviously back then it was pretty crass and vulgar, but they did have some good messaging about leaving someone if you want to and standing up for yourself. And I used to love just going for walks and listening to that podcast. Like because I started it where there was like a bit of a backlog. I had so many to listen to. Like I love when that happens.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And then other than that, I just, hung out with my sister, hung out with my family, went on holiday, just,
Centered yourself. Because the Jacquie that like, I mean, this is the first time we've ever met, but like the one I see online too, like you are just like a really independent queen. Like that is the vibe and energy I get from you. Do you know what I mean?
Wow, I love that because I don't think I'm independent at all.
No, but like that's what I get. So like, I feel like from that time in your life, looking back at say that younger Jacquie who then accepted love like that was less than she deserved. Like, how does that make you feel today?
Yeah, it sucks. I hate that I went through that, but at the same time, I think it's made me who I am now, and it's made me a stronger person, and it's made me realize like that's what I don't want, and that's what I will never have again, and I wouldn't want that for anyone around me either. So yeah, it does hurt me to think about young Jacquie going through that, but also I'm glad that I got on the other side of it.